Welcome to the Freed from Stuck podcast. Today's guest is Les Sparks. He is a holistic health and disease prevention expert with Optimum 365. Today's topic, one size does not fit all, how fitness and nutrition help you become and stay freed from stuck. And your host today is Susie Hayes, author of Freed from Stuck.
Hi, this is Susie Hayes, and I want to welcome you to the Freed from Stuck podcast. The vast majority of American adults are overweight or obese, and weight is a growing problem among U.S. children. Roughly 2/3 of adults and nearly 30% of children are overweight. About 36% of American adults are obese, more than 1 in 3. And globally, more than 1 in 10 humans are obese. Today, we have as our guest Les Sparks of Optimum 365, who practices in Denver, Colorado, and he is an expert in holistic health and disease prevention. Welcome, Les. It's so good to have you joining me here today.
Well, thank you, Susie, and I'm happy to be here and look forward to this time we have together.
Absolutely. So tell me, what issues do your clients tend to face with regard to getting to and maintaining a healthy weight?
Food is so much more than just calories.
Much more complex.
Yeah. I mean, they have the ability to really alter and help control your hormone production, which is very important in the whole weight loss arena. And food also, besides just the caloric and building block components of food, they're even finding out that food, as God created food, actually has information that speaks to our bodies that allow our bodies to express health from the inside out. So
not all calories are created equally.
That's correct. Not
And
all calories are created equally.
And it sounds like you're also challenging people to consider what it means to develop an intelligent relationship with your body and to appreciate that intelligence.
Well, yeah. I think you hit on a very important chord there.
When you're working with someone who is wanting to improve their health and they understand that they have this certain goal, whatever that might be, and you have a strategy to get them there. You have a process. You design a process in working with them to get them where they want to be.
Okay.
Where do you find the challenges or the resistances to often be in that? And then how do you work with that?
Okay. That's a very good question.
Good.
Because a lot of times it's the environment in which we place ourselves in. So what I will often do in order to get the person in a position to be able to kind of clean house and change their perspective and their environment that's kind of keeping them stuck in their place is we actually need to go into their house and we need to look at go through their cupboards and their pantries and their refrigerator, and we need to start removing those things that are sabotaging their efforts that they're unaware of. And we then need to replace them with things that is a good complement or a compromise that they can be satisfied with in order to replace that in order and to move forward. And we just kind of go item by item, piece by piece, and start changing the person's environment in their home and their accessibility to things, so it becomes much easier and much more of a fail-proof system. It's kind of like if you don't want, sugar in your, if you have a sugar addiction, it's best if you don't have candy laying around the house, kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
a lot of times we'll actually go into people's houses and just kind of help them with food that they're using, cooking items that they're using, and even a lot of times their personal care products and household products that are interfering and sabotaging their efforts.
So it's really about bringing their external environment in alignment with their internal intent.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And I would think that that may have a challenge in itself, because to be able to make those changes sometimes means letting go of what we don't want to let go of.
It can be a very hard challenge. Yes, it can be that point at which you've got to say goodbye.
Yes.
You have to.
And it's hard because it's a decision about what do we feel is going to serve our greater intention, our goal. And there is actually a grieving process required for us to really let go of those things that are no longer serving us. We may know, that, yeah, this is really the best choice, but to actually let go of some of those things can be difficult for people, particularly if they are not only attached to them, but if they are addicted to them, that has both an emotional and mental and biochemical component to it.
Yes, it does. Yes, and sugar is one of those substances, unfortunately, that is very addictive to a certain subset of people. They just can't give it up until they make that mind shift that, okay, I'm worth it, my future's worth it, my health is worth it, I'm gonna give it up. And it's not that they got to give up everything they like, because there's a lot of, if sweet's your thing, there's other things we can do, and there's other products you can, and other ingredients that you can use in place of sugar that's not nearly as harmful or inflammatory or hard on your body as sugar, and it's not addictive.
So part of the challenge is really a reframing of realizing that you might need to adjust your choices, or you might need to give something up, but that does not have to be defined in terms of deprivation.
Correct. Yes. And you're picking up so well, and you spin it in such an easy to understand way. Yes, you're right.
Okay,
You're correct.
good, good.
So thank you for summarizing what I'm saying in such an easier to understand language.
Well, you're welcome. I think it really speaks to the importance of what you understand, Les, around what can be a complex process. It's not simple and it's not easy. And as you and I both know, it has virtually very little to do with willpower. Willpower can be useful at a conscious level, but it's not enough to create change. So when you're working with people, one of the things that I talk about in my Freed from Stuck, both in the book and in the workshops, is that I identify 5 elements that are really important for people. And one of them is about getting very clear about your destination, your goal, that you really understand what it is you want to accomplish, and that you are connected to that in such a way that compels you forward, not just the pain of where you're at, but that this vision of who you are meant to be compels you forward in those changes. How do you cultivate that with the people that you're working with, Les?
Well, I mean, there's got to be some accountability.
Okay.
Right. There's got to be somebody that you can speak to. And we're actually kind of working on that as far as building a community of sort. That's something that's down the road for me. But what I do at this point in time is a lot of my clients I see on a weekly basis. Either I train them or we can have consultations over the phone just to kind of keep them accountable for what they're doing throughout the week, and hold them uh, hold them accountable. But after you kind of reach your goals, and your body kind of has a reset, I'm more of a 80-20 kind of person. So, because I know we have to be realistic a lot of times in our world and in our choices. And for some, it's just to be 100% right all the time is almost unsustainable. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of agree. So I'm more of an 80-20 person, especially once you get to a point where you've reached your goal, you've lost the weight that you wanted to lose, you're maintaining, then you can kind of relax and kind of back off a little bit, so it doesn't have to be so stringent all the time. And again, I just find too that once really people get to that point, there's so much pride in what they've done, and they're so proud of themselves, is that it's easy to maintain and not fall back into what it was, because they've come too far, and their health and their body and their life is worth fighting for, and they can maintain it.
Yes. So you've identified some really important elements there with regard to sustained success. In terms of what you provide education, you
Mm-hmm.
provide inspiration, you provide accountability, and you encourage people to see this as not just an endpoint of arriving at a optimal weight, but really a point from which they can continue to maintain that weight and also continue to live the quality of life that they want to live moving forward.
Correct.
Part of what I hear you saying is that if we really come back into alignment with understanding the intelligence of our body
Right.
and living in a way that is honoring that and paying attention to that, and we're gathering as much information as we can about what options really support that,
Correct.
then we are taking control of our lives, we're taking control of our choices, and we actually have far better chances of living a higher quality of life and of longevity that we wouldn't
Yes.
otherwise have if we acquiesce the control of our health outside of ourselves.
You said it, wow, perfectly. Yes. I mean, there's a saying that I have is, you don't want to outsource your health. And
See,
that's what you're
you
talking
said it much more simply, Les. I think that's great.
about. You want to take control of your own health. And just kind of while we're on this, I'm just going to throw this out there. There's a study, there's a science out there. It's a relatively new science, maybe 15 years old. It's called epigenetics.
Mm-hmm.
And you've heard of that term, maybe?
I have, yes.
Maybe a lot of our audience has. But really what the epigenetics is a study of the expression of our genes based on our environment and all that we're talking about. How much sleep we're getting, what kind of food we're eating, what kind of love and support we have around us, how much stress we have or little, how much movement and exercise we have, all these factors that can negatively impact your health. And if you take control of those factors and kind of eliminate as much of those as you can from your environment and lifestyle, what they're showing is that disease that we're familiar with in society, 80% of diseases could be just vanished, gone.
Which
By
is a
just,
pretty powerful claim. That's
yes,
a
it
pretty
is.
powerful claim.
But
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what the experts are saying.
Yes, absolutely.
And it really it speaks volumes to the power of our food. Food have been, the importance and the power of good, proper nutrition has been kind of washed down the river and ignored and not paid attention to. But the power of correct everyday choices is much more powerful than people realize.
Because you've talked about external sabotage. But I want to kind of pick your brain about internal, the ways that we self-sabotage. Tell me how you work with that with your clients.
Wow. I have them, I give them your lead and have them talk to you. And you work with them.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
You
enough.
know,
Which I think,
it kind of
I
reminds me.
appreciate that. Yeah, because what you're identifying is that when it's at that level, sometimes there are unconscious or emotional components related.
Right.
And that if people do not attend to that, then you may educate them and provide support and accountability, and you may work with them with certain
Right.
beliefs and understanding. But if there's something going on at that deeper level, they probably need to attend to that either before or during the process of working with you, so that they can move forward and be successful. Excellent, excellent. Well, anything else that you would like to share with us, Les, before we wrap it up here today? Anything that you feel is important for us to know?
Well, we've covered a lot, and I thank you for your time. Again, I'm very passionate and happy and excited to have the opportunity to do what I do and teach people what they need to know and information that they can use in order to live a lifestyle of health and fitness and longevity. Um, this program originally was designed and built as a wellness ministry, knowing that this body of ours is a temple of God, and we just need to be able to learn to treat it so we can serve His will to its fullest. And so I just thank you for the opportunity to express that, and thank you for the opportunity for this time and that we've had, and for this interview, and it's been wonderful.
Great. Well, I would totally agree, Les. Thank you. And I appreciate your time. I will be including some contact information. So if
Okay.
you want to get together with you and explore your program and the resources that you have to offer to them, that will be available to them. So thank you so much. And
Yes,
have
feel
a
free
great
to
rest of
reach
your
out
day.
and contact me and give them my information, and God bless you and what you do as well, and look forward to tomorrow.
Great. Thank you, Les. Take care.
Okay. Thank you, Susie. You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Be sure and check out information on our special guest, Les Sparks. Go to www.optimum365.net. And feel free to contact me, Susie Hayes, at www.freedfromstuck.com.